Thank you very much. Generally yields back. Before we go into any additional amendments, are there any statements anybody would like to make on this amendment? If not, are there any other amendments? Gentlelady from California is recognized. For what purpose does the gentlelady seek recognition?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have an amendment that I'd like to offer.
The clerk will report the amendment.
Amendment number 1 to the amendment in the nature of a substitute to H.R. 1481 offered by Ms. Hahn of California.
The amendment is considered as read, and the gentlelady is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks for your leadership on the legislation under consideration today and your commitment to making this a bipartisan proposal. This legislation addresses a number of concerns that members of this committee on both sides of the aisle have had for a long time in regards to our nation's small business ability to compete fairly to federal contracts. Contracting is one of the most important ways that the federal government can empower small businesses. Every year, federal agencies devote hundreds of billions of dollars to contracts with thousands of businesses across the country. To ensure that our nation's small businesses are given a fair shot to compete for these contracts, the federal government has an annual goal of awarding 23% of all federal prime contract dollars to small businesses. We also have sub-goals to ensure prime contracts are awarded to disadvantaged, women-owned, service-disabled, veteran-owned, and hub-zone small businesses. Last year, we were all very pleased to see that in 2013, federal agencies met that 23% small business contracting goal for the first time. My question is, are these small business contracts actually going to small businesses? How do we know? A report by the American Small Business League found that Apple, Chevron, Verizon, Bank of America, and Disney all had received small business contracts in 2011. In 2012, the League found that 57 Fortune 100 companies or their subsidiaries were awarded federal small business contracts totaling more than $500 million. If these reports are accurate, it casts real doubt on whether the federal government really is meeting that 23% small business contracting goal. Small businesses should not be unfairly losing out on these valuable contracts to corporate giants. We need to understand why these large companies are receiving small business contracts. Anecdotally, I've heard a number of reasons. Large companies creating shell subsidiaries that appear to be small businesses, and a bureaucratic problem of simply mislabeling business in documentation. So my amendment would call for a GAO study to assess this problem. The study would look at whether federal agencies are accurately identifying the size of businesses awarded these contracts, the impact of these inaccuracies, and what procedures agencies use to identify the size of businesses. The GAO would make recommendations as to how to improve the accuracy of these small business contract reports. The report will be submitted to this committee within a year of this legislation's passage, and I hope that it will give us a better picture of this ongoing problem and a better idea of how to address it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The gentleman from Florida, Mr. Cabello, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I want to offer my support for the Hahn amendment. The GAO report will help us have the best data possible with which to make decisions on prime and subcontracting goals. And I appreciate, again, your leadership and the ranking member's leadership on this issue. I yield back.
Thank you very much. The gentleman yields back. Are there any other members who seek recognition? Yes,
Mr. Chairman.
The ranking member is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you. I would like to thank Congresswoman Hahn for her amendment. And while this provision will help increase transparency in small business contract, we must be cautious in requiring too many studies of GAO through legislation, given the agency's limited resources at its disposal. Still, the Federal Procurement Data System holds important information needed to analyze awards to small businesses. However, all too often the size status of a business is inaccurate or, in some cases, missing. As a result, we do not have a full picture of small business participation. This amendment will not only help us understand why this is happening, but also what can be done to increase the accuracy of the size, status, designation in the system. With that, I just want to say I strongly support her amendment, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Thank you. The gentlelady yields back. Does anyone else seek recognition on either side? If there's no further discussion on the amendment, I'd like to thank the gentlelady from California, Ms. Hahn, for her leadership in offering this amendment, as well as Mr. Cobello, who's offered the topic that this is involved with. Holding agencies accountable for meeting the small business goals only works if we have reliable data. This amendment is a reasonable approach, in my view, to uncover the extent to which the data is reliable and to find ways to improve the quality of the goaling data. And I'm happy to support the amendment. The question is on the amendment offered by Congresswoman Hahn. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The ayes have it, and the amendment is agreed to. And